boy, don't watch that. Cause if it's something I saw rock that. And if it's something you know I got that. Come through with a big baseball.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make a special effects laceration. And it's going to look something like that and that. So the products I'm going to be using are Proline Faux Flesh modeling wax, a Ben Nye bruise wheel, and Ben Nye fresh scab. And that's all I really am going to use other than my brushes. So a laceration is a jagged cut usually caused by a blunt trauma, and they're more or less on the bonier parts of your face, so your cheekbones, your forehead, bridge of your nose, your chin and jawline, things like that. When you get a laceration, there's usually some bruising around it because of the trauma, so that's what we're going to start with today. When you have a fresh bruise, it's usually pretty blue and purple and black. It generally looks kind of gnarly. So we're going to start with the Ben Nye bruise wheel, and we're going to just I'm going to apply it on the bridge of my nose where I want the laceration to go on top of. So this is the bruise wheel I have, and I'm going to start with the dark blue color, just very, very lightly so it's not too much. The way I'm going to apply it is I'm just going to kind of dab it on so it's not too uniform looking. I want it to look a little bit messy. So now that I've done that, I'm going to move on to more purple, this color here, and do the same thing I did with the blue, just over top of it. So that's good. I don't want to make it too bold because I want the focus to be the laceration, so the bruise is just kind of there in the background, so it's there and it makes sense. So next I'm going to move on to the Faux Flesh modeling wax, and I'm going to apply an even layer on the bridge of my nose where I want the laceration to be, and this is how I'm going to make the tear. So I'm just going to take the end of one of my brushes, and I'm just going to take a chunk out of this. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to roll it around in my hand a little bit to warm it up because I find it works a lot better when it's a little warmer. It's easier to mold. So I just made it into this little piece, and I'm just going to apply it over top of the bruise on my nose. And I'm going to smooth it out so that it's a nice even layer and get rid of any excess that's too much. Okay, so that's done, and it's starting to look less noticeable, which is good. So I'm going to take the end of my brush, preferably a pointier brush is better just because it makes the tear easier to do. And I'm just going to run the brush through the center and make a tear in it. And then you have to remove the excess, obviously. So as you can see, I have what looks like a little tear on the top of my nose, which is what we want. Okay, so in order to make this cut look like it's really deep, I'm going to use a black or dark brown eyeshadow, and I'm going to fill in the center where I'm going to put the blood. So this doesn't look like much now, but when you get the blood on it, it's going to make it look like it's a really, really deep cut. So next I'm going to move on to the fresh scab. It looks like this, kind of like jelly. And this is what's going to pretty much finish off my laceration. So I'm just going to take the end of one of my brushes, and I'm going to dip it in this stuff. And all I'm going to do is basically just place it within where the gash is and on top of the black stuff. So that's that, and if you really want to make it just a little bit better, you could always put a little bit of fake blood on it. Just dip your brush in the bottle and just put it on top of the fresh scab. It'll make it look even more wet and just kind of brighten up the effect a little bit. But that's basically that. If you want, you can always add a little bit more bruising around it, and other than that, that's all you really do. that concludes my laceration tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned from it, and I'll be posting another video really soon, so cheers for now.